So our next guest, my audience has no idea who he is. They have not heard him on 5, possibly 6 previous interviews at all, ever. Nope. He was not one of my first 20 guests. Anyway, we have David Brier back with us, guys. He is the slayer of the mundane, as you guys know, the man rising above the noise. And you guys all know where to find him. Once again, it's risingaboutthenoise.com. David, thanks for coming back again, man.
Absolutely.
I feel like you're stalking me at this point. It kind of isn't fair.
I was going to say the same thing about you.
Okay. I did follow you to Mexico, I guess. So,
That's right.
Sometimes you gotta
brought your family
full
with you.
intentions or something like that, Big fans. So I'm curious, looking at how the world has changed so much. How has that changed in the world of branding? How people talk and discuss their brand, if it has at all?
I think a big change has been the humanization of brands. Brands for many, many years and decades were a product or a service. And I think with the advent and just the normalization of social media, where people had a channel to actually reach out and say something and have a voice, that really added the humanization. And we look at the brands that we all know. It's like you've got Samsung, you have Apple. But Apple's always been the more humanized brand. It's got Steve Jobs. It's got people behind it. It was built around people. Samsung is, the technology is comparable, or one's better than the other, But why is it that we kind of connect with the other? Or we know Tesla, Elon Musk. We know Virgin, Richard Branson. We know VaynerMedia, Gary Vee. That human component, I think, has become integral. And I think a lot of people really underestimate the power of it to really make a difference.
So I want to wind this back a little bit, because this is high-level expertise stuff that you carry from several decades of doing branding and big accounts, billions of dollars in sales resulting in that. For the beginning entrepreneur, maybe the 6-figure entrepreneur or under, what do you think that they miss most common when they're trying to establish their brand?
They think that what they're actually doing is we need to talk, being that entrepreneur, we need to talk about us, we need to talk about our product, we need to talk about our service. Nobody gives a shit about your product, your service, my product. What they care about is the fact that, when I use that person or tap into that expertise, that can advance me, that can transform me, that can move me that can close the gap from where I am today to where I want to be, and that can close the gap. And if that interaction, it might make my life simpler, it might make things more efficient, it might transform the way that I do things. And so that's the thing. The discussion to be had is not, let me tell you about me, let me tell you about what I do, let me tell you about all that stuff, but it's like, hey, by the way, what's the problem you're having? What's the check? And here's probably the biggest misconception. Entrepreneurs do not understand that a problem is synonymous with a challenge, is synonymous with an objective, is synonymous with an aspiration. Having a problem is a good thing. That means you actually have a desire to be somewhere. A person without a problem is that, oh, great. I mean, who are the people that actually don't have problems? They're in the cemetery.
That's a good point. So I also want to get a perspective question here, because you were a former speaker actually at our second event in Montana.
Yeah.
And now you're here as an attendee. What's the perspective differences you've seen as a presenter versus an attendee?
Besides less autographs? No. I would say not as dramatic as I would have thought. And that's a good thing. Because, I said it last night, said it earlier this morning when we were talking, and I'll say it again. For those that don't know Tony is, in my estimation of things, Tony is like a god of community building. It's in his DNA. It's what he does. He does it brilliantly and organically. He's not doing it as a stepping stone to like, hey, now bait and switch. Hey, now I got you in the community, now I can do, he's not, it's not that. He just knows and that's you. You know the value of human interaction and connection, community, and you know that, and you do it from a place of service. And so that's the thing that stands out to me. So whether as a presenter, the only difference is like you were there to make sure that I had what I needed to do what I needed to do there, and now it's like you're making sure I'm getting value as an attendee. So I mean, it's all your fault, Tony. It's like all the goodness of it. You're totally to blame, and I'm going to hold it against you forever.
Well, that's some great feedback, because it is an intention that we have at these events that it's immersion. We want to make sure the speakers are collaborating and getting to know. Because we're all humans, man. We don't want to meet people. We want to network just like everybody else. And I like that you have the same perspective on both sides of the stage, so to speak. So,
Absolutely.
David, if people want to find you or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Go to risingabovethenoise.com, RISING. Go to Rising Above the Noise. That's kind of like where everything starts. You can get free ebooks there. You can get tons of content. And you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, but that's the starting place.